Next up, we're zooming out to the Western Hill Country. We just heard about Comal County, and I'm very excited to introduce a friend of mine from Junction, which is one of my favorite spots in the Hill Country for some reason. It's a really special place, and Glen Coleman is here to tell you about a group of people that are really committed to protecting its most precious resource, the Llano River. So Glen, if you would come up here, we'd love to have you talk to us about private dams on public waters.
Is there a clicker?
Yes, you can use this big button.
Big button. This story will be more fun after happy hour, and I'm just going to tell it like a story. So, spring of last year, just as we were headed into what turned out to be a horrible drought, the Llano River Watershed, which is the junction, mostly the junction of community, but also Mason and Llano, got some very terrifying news that and you couldn't have written it any better, a wealthy oil baron, the chairman of a large petrochemical corporation, which remain nameless, but it's not Apple Computers, had filed a permit at the TCEQ to dam 11 acre-feet at the very headwaters of our very sacred South Llano River. So this is the river that never dries, so-called river that never dries, that feeds the chain of lakes. Even in the worst of droughts, this is the South Llano River State Park. This is our lives and homes, and the community just lost it, did not know what to do. But that's okay. There was a big meeting in Rocksprings, and we filled up an auditorium, lots of people there. People drove all the way up from Llano, which is well over, 150 miles, and man, we were going to teach them what for. TCQ, I guess half their staff was there, and it was unbelievably obvious that this was performative, and they were going to approve that permit. I mean, we could see their lobbyist, Peter Gregg, is a great guy. He was hugging the staff, and it was just a big old party, and we're like, my God, we are in trouble. Somehow we got it right, and I just want to share with you some of the lessons we kind of learned along the way. Big button here. So about 11 acre-feet, so that's about 5 swimming pools, 5 Olympic swimming pools, maybe 3.5 Barton Springs if you're from Austin. It's a lot of water, but it wasn't the amount of water that was terrifying us. It was the precedent. If this can happen legally, then we knew it would be a matter of days before other permits would appear, or illegal dams would just metastasize all along the watershed. So there's a real fear here that we were looking at a pretty scary turn of events. So this is just a story as it pertains to the media and the adventures we had with the media and the things we learned we want to share. The first thing we learned was, that I'm going to impart to you as my fellow activist, is know your beat, all right? Know that reporter or reporters that are covering your area. I don't know why the slide is up here, but it looked like a good one. Somebody in the HCA, we're not sure who, reached out to, they started with television. Now, if you want to do character assassination, television's the place to start. Because there's no nuance. There's a good guy, there's a bad guy, it's black and white, it's a really simple story, and it's not something we enjoy in environmental activism very often. Usually it's like, well, we want clean energy, but do we want windmills in our backyard? It's always 7 to 1, half a dozen the other. Not this time it wasn't. It was evil oil baron versus, and this is where you learn the second lesson, your spokesperson. We were led by a woman named Linda Fawcett, who is in the audience right now. You couldn't have asked for a better Goliath to this David. I mean, the TV arrived. She was just so on point. Here was someone who retired to her family land in the Hill Country, remaining or current, retired to her family land in the Hill Country, it was fantastic optics. So the second thing, so that's one of the first things we learned, is have the right spokesman for the moment. I guess this third thing we learned is think carefully about who is reading or watching the media that you're producing, and really think about that. Second round of media, we got lucky. We had the Austin Chronicle, Lena Fisher, fantastic little up-and-coming reporter, Alejandra at the Tribune, and we had a good round of media that was read by the decision makers in Austin. So not media we consume for ourselves, not feeding our own outrage, but very targeted, this is your water supply, that was read by the media in Austin. The day after this Austin Chronicle article, which is not this Austin article, slide I have, the day that came out, I got a text from Leslie Poole, who's a City of Austin council member, and she's like, what in the hell? So I believe Bill Neiman is also here. Bill and I loaded up and drove into Austin with a couple other stakeholders, some of whose names you might know. We met with the council member and we said, look, this is the water supply for the city of Austin. Within 2 weeks, we had a resolution from the city in which the city of Austin, they themselves engaged directly with the TCQ to oppose the permit. So we went from grassroots energy, which is important, to guns and money, by which I mean lawyers, briefs, time, attention, someone who could really, really slow a permit down. So what we were able to do, and we just got lucky, let's face it, we were able to combine the might of the city of Austin, all of the people's grassroots energy in this room, and just put a concerted push to stop the permit. 60 days within having filed the story at KXAN, they were able to file this slide, which is that the landowner withdrew the dam, and our final thing we learned is you can stop things from happening if you put your mind to it. So I give you Linda Fawcett with the Llano River Watershed Association.